to another Michael's class. I'm Nita Patterson, aka Neatly Planned in the planner community. Today's class is all about finding your planner style. In the planner community, whether you are a brand new planner babe or a seasoned planner babe, we are all trying to get to what I like to call planner peace. We're trying to find the one planner system that will work perfectly for our needs. Today, we are going to talk about all the things. Hopefully, at the end of this class, you will have a better understanding of kind of what your needs are, what you're thinking about when considering a new planner, when you're shopping, especially with all of the new fall release planners out there for 2021. These are just some things to keep in mind when shopping for a new planner. Before we dive in, we do have some housekeeping. As you guys can see, the chat box down below is for you all to communicate with one another as the class is happening, and then the Q&A is specifically for questions that you have for me. So definitely drop those in. I want this to be interactive. I want you to leave feeling informed with some great takeaways. Also, if you enjoy this class, there are other planner classes available on Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, we have Christine. She will be doing a fall plan with me. And then on Thursday, Mario will be doing sticker hacks. So if you want to know how to cut those stickers up and use them multiple different ways, that will be a very fun class as well. Both of those classes will be at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. You guys can sign up for that class just like you signed up for mine. They're all free, so definitely take advantage of those. All right. So let's chat. As before, when we did this process, I gave you guys a lot of kind of questions and takeaways. We're going to kind of do the same thing. And starting with finding your planner style is, I like to ask myself a series of questions. I've been in the planner community now for about 5 years. And when I first started, I bought all the things. I wanted to try everything. And what I realized, some of those things didn't fit my needs. And so now when considering a planner, I like to ask myself a couple of questions. And so the first thing that I like to ask myself when considering a new planner or a new planner layout, what do I need this planner to do for me? What am I looking to track? This is really, really important when considering a planner and a planner layout. And then again, this is kind of a deep question, but how am I looking for this planner to improve my life? Sounds, again, that's Stephanie's whole thing, plan and live a happy life. But we all seek planners for multiple reasons, whether it be to juggle a busy, crazy work schedule, or home life, or kids, or sports, or tracking your fitness journey, or meal planning, budgeting and finance goals, or just goal setting. We all have a reason on why we are looking to use a planner. And so it's like, finding that why. Why am I searching for a new planner? And so I feel like that's kind of just a question. So pin that, kind of write that down, think about that to consider. These are areas I like to consider when looking at a planner or my needs for a planner. Home management, budget or finance, work, and then also what we find in the planner community, a lot of us use planners as a creative outlet. And so if you're going to be using it creatively, there may be additional things you want to consider for a creative planner. Of course, organization, that's the whole point of a planner, to set it down to accomplish a goal. And then another option would be fitness or faith. And so we're not going to look at all of those layouts, but we're definitely going to look at some of those in person overhead. And then that's the first thing. So considering what your needs for a planner are. Then the next set of questions, or question number 2, is, what is your writing style? You're like, Nita, what are you talking about? What do you mean a writing style? This was something I didn't consider when buying a planner. But a writing style is simply like a category that you fall in on how you like to document things in your planner. So I'm going to give you 5. I feel like for the most part, most of us planners, we fall in either one category or multiple categories. Again, this is conversational, but I'm going to also walk you through as I'm talking about these things, but as I say the different writing styles, I'm also going to let you know the planner that I think may be best. This is just a personal recommendation over years of using the different layouts and trying the different styles, but I'm going to recommend that. So as I'm talking about these different styles, if what I'm saying is resonating with you, I want you to write that down. Definitely share them in the chat box, because I want to know what everyone's preferences are. Where do you think you fall? So the number one, or the first writing style I would say would be a goal setter. Are you a goal setter? You may say, Nita, well, how do I know if I'm a goal setter? If you like to set weekly, monthly, or even daily goals for yourself, if you are, you like to have action items to accomplish those goals, if you are a deadline focused person, so you like to know, okay, by Wednesday, I have to have all these things down. If you are a deadline focused person, you are a goal setter. You fall into the goal setting category. The second category, which happens to be myself, is the lister. I told you guys before in the increasing productivity class, I have to get it out of my head. I won't be able to rest at night until I get all of my thoughts down on paper. So if you are a person like myself, you like to do a great brain dump, or you enjoy mapping things out, kind of those project mappings, then you are a lister. A lister is also a person who likes that never-ending to-do list. You would fall under the listing category. And let me back up. If you're a goal setter, the two planners that I would recommend, of course, there are so many layout options, but I want you to write these down. I would recommend a vertical and a dashboard layout for the goal setter. And then for the lister, I would recommend the vertical and a vertical line planner are the two recommendations, and I'm only giving two. You guys can definitely reach out to me via Instagram or YouTube if you have additional questions. I'm Neatly Planned on Instagram and on YouTube. I promise you guys I will answer your questions. And so then there's the third. And the third one to me I think is interesting, because I think I also kind of fall into this category at times, is the detailer. If you are long-winded and you like to write down the specifics of everything, if you are a what, when, how person, you are a detailer. Also, things to consider in these when you're thinking about a writing style is if you have a lot or a little. This is going to play in part when we start talking about the size of the planner that you need. So that's just something to consider in the back of your mind, kind of ponder that. If your schedule for work is the same every single day and you don't have a lot of to-dos, well, you may not need as much space. The fourth writing style would be if you are an at-a-glance person. You really like looking at that monthly view in your planner. You like looking at everything you have to do in a month. For me as a lister, that is overwhelming. I don't want to see it all in one place at one time. If you are an at-a-glance person, I would recommend a dashboard planner, and specifically utilizing the monthly view in any planner. The fifth and final one, I think if you are a planner babe in this community, you find yourself kind of fitting in this category somewhat, and that is the customizer. The customizer likes to take bits and pieces from the different writing styles and kind of make it their own. So I like to do the listing, but I like a little bit of at a glance. If you are the customizer, I would recommend both a dashboard and a vertical layout. Like I said before, depending on those different layouts will also determine the variety or the options of planners that are available to you, specifically when we start talking about the themes and color schemes. Okay, so we're going to switch to overhead. Did anyone have any questions just about those writing styles at the moment?
Yes, Nita, we have, what were the planner styles for the detailer that you gave or offered?
Yes, let me look at my notes. Okay, for the detailer, I recommended the horizontal and dashboard layout.
Okay. And the lister, you recommended the vertical and the vertical lined?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm going to show, oh, go ahead. You can keep asking questions as I set up.
Okay, and let me just check and see. the goal setter, you had said vertical and dashboard.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
this
I think that covers it. I've got it from here. Thank you.
Perfect. And so this year, I'm so excited. As you guys know, I like a more minimalist planner. And so Happy Planner, of course, because they're great like that, they came out with this new layout style that I'm so excited about. Again, as you probably can hear it in my voice, this particular planner is called Good Habits. And this planner is available. It will be available in both big and classic. But what I love about this, especially because I'm a goal setter, I feel like I'm kind of a little bit of all those. I think I'm a little bit of a customizer, but definitely a lister. When you're looking at this good habits, what I love about this, like I like to do my 3 before 10, you guys know that my top 3 things I need to get done before 10 a.m. I think this will be a great option for that down here at the bottom. And then it has these really fun kind of, did I crush it? Progress made, needs work. And so that's, again, if you're trying to create that 3 before 10 as a habit, of course, this planner is called Good Habits. It's perfect for that. Also, if you are a goal setter, it has a check-in. So this is in every single week of this planner. It has that the check-in option. So how are you making progress? So if you're a goal setter and you're working on a big goal, this is a weekly area where you can go in and kind of update yourself, kind of a status update. What's really fun too is typically that's different from in this planner versus a traditional vertical is on that monthly page. It has a goal setting page. So that the monthly page, here it used to be your currently page. So, you know, loving, looking, birthdays. This is all about goal setting. So it's you're setting a goal or choosing a habit. Did I make it, or am I trying to make this a habit or break it? The action steps. List 2 ways to expect to achieve this goal. And then a reflection. What worked last month and how can you carry it out? How can you carry out those strategies into the month's goal? And I love that. Because again, you set a goal and sometimes one month you may do really well at it, but you need to go back and assess. And I love that it's specifically having you look at what worked well, but also another great thing, you could flip this and say, what didn't work? And make adjustments in this reflection box. So I'm really excited. This will be my work planner for 2021. So again, same vertical, so I'm not needing to retrain my mind on how to look at this. So for a goal setter, for a lister, vertical is an option. I also recommended the vertical line for a lister. Of course, you get your 3 boxes that you normally would in a traditional layout, a vertical layout, but it gives you the lines. I recommend the lines for listers specifically because you don't need the extra check boxes. It's also aesthetically pleasing. It allows you to write evenly across. You're not kind of going on a diagonal. And I like that. I've tried vertical lines. So I'm going to show you both of these, a vertical and a vertical line written in so you can get an example. Because I think some people are like, oh, if it's vertical, how will I decorate that? So this is an example of my work planner using vertical lines. So again, you're still able to do your check boxes. You guys know for me, I like to keep meetings specifically in boxes. So this is a visual of what that looks like. And then you have your running to-do list. Same thing, I did my, kind of my top things that needed to get done. And so basically it's just flip-flop. Instead of it being at the top with that good habits planner, it's now at the bottom. And then here's an example of just a traditional vertical, me as a lister, all of my to-dos, just running top down. For goal setter, I also said that an option would be a dashboard layout. So this is a dashboard filled in, and this would also work if you are a detailer, because you're able to write out like kind of your major to-dos and brain dumps using this left side. And then on your weeklies, you can really hone in and write the specifics of what you have for that day. What I always say is when looking and considering a planner, all of these, these options, dashboards are available in classic, mini, and big, same way with the vertical. They're available in classic, big, and mini, but consider if you are using, this is just kind of a pro tip, if you're finding yourself using a lot of filler papers, you may want to go up a size. So that's just something to consider. I mean, I wanted you guys to get a visual of what they looked like filled in. And so you can kind of gauge, because I think that's always a concern with people, especially with the dashboard layout. Can I get a lot of to-dos in the actual boxes themselves? Also, the same way people feel like they struggle with it creatively. That's kind of just a pro tip also. Decorate along the edges will allow you to maximize your writing space. So I wanted you guys to see kind of like a before the, after the pen, so you could actually see once it's been written in and loved on, how functional it can be. Okay. So the next planner that we're going to talk about would be the horizontal. Now I have the horizontal in mini. I think the horizontal is the best layout for the long, I would say kind of the detailer or the long-winded writer, if you want to write out all the who's and what's. I always say the horizontal planner is the most common one that you will find when you're just looking at planners, not just Happy Planner. I think traditionally people are used to finding horizontal planners and writing in them. And so if you're a detailer, I think horizontal would be the best way. It allows you to write those things in, but then you can also write appointments and specifics in your monthly, your month at a glance. So you still have this, but it just kind of allows you to write more specifics in there. Okay, so now that you see the different layouts, I'm going to show you the fun faith as well, because like we talked about for the different categories, you may be looking at a faith planner or fitness planner, but I wanted to show you this fun faith specifically because it's changed. The layout in the faith planner has changed. It used to be like the 3 boxes, and now they've changed the layout, again, making it more functional. You can have your daily verse at the top, and then you can actually write out, if you do a daily devotional, you can write out kind of those thought-provoking questions that you have, or your takeaway. You can write it just down as a lister as well. You can always add in filler paper, line paper to give you additional writing space. With your faith planner, I know that that's something people always say, like, oh, I wish I had more writing space, but always you can add just blank filler paper in there to fit the needs of that. Same way with fitness. You can use a fitness planner, or you can use just a regular vertical planner for fitness tracking. You can do like breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you're doing meal tracking, or you can do one box, I'm going to track my workout, one box, I'm going to track my meals, the last one, I'm going to, be my habit tracker. Did I work out? Did I take my vitamins? Did I meet my water or sleep goal for the day? It's a great way to really utilize that. So this is the Fun Faith. It's really colorful. It's a really beautiful planner. I was really excited that they changed the layout. So I want you guys to see a size comparison in what's out there for Happy Planner. Again, if you're a novice or if you're new to Happy Planner, I want you to understand the process, why size matters. So you have a big, which it consists of 11 discs. The big Happy Planner it is your letter size. If you are considering, you may be looking at trying to figure out what size is best for me. When looking at a big planner, I use a big planner for work. I like the convenience of a big planner because it allows me to punch and print things directly in my planner. I can take it off the copier. I can use the big hole punch and punch it directly in my planner, and it works for me. It also gives you the most amount of space for writing. So whether it's a big dashboard, a big horizontal, a big vertical, you will get the most amount of writing space just in the boxes. And then also what I like about the big size planner is all the accessories, whether they're big, mini, or classic, they all fit into the big size planner. And for me, I like that. I like that there's no thought behind it. Now, those are the pros. The cons behind having a bigger planner, of course, it's bigger. And when you're carrying it out, you have to consider that. You may need a bigger bag, or it won't necessarily fit into your purse. It limits color schemes and themes of planners that are available. I'm trying to win you guys to the big size planners because again, in retail, it's about sales. So if the big planners are not selling well, they're not going to make as many. So that's the only drawback when looking at a big planner or considering a big planner for your choice. There will be limited options for big. That's really for me, the only, I would say the only con of choosing a big size planner. The next size planner that is for Happy Planner would be what's considered, it's called the classic size planner. The classic size planner consists of 9 discs. The classic is the most popular planner. So this particular planner, all of the expansion packs that Happy Planner makes are available in Classic. All the expansion packs, all the companion packs, and then all the accessories. So when they make accessories, they will always come in Classic. All the folders, the filler, all the good stuff comes in Classic. I'm trying to get more big accessories. So if you guys come on and get on the big train with me, we can get some more big options available. But Classic is the most popular. So pretty much any layout style that Happy Planner comes out with will always be available in the Classic. All of the Happy Planner girls are in Classic. And so that is, I really say that there are no cons to the Classic. It's traditional size. So if you've used another planner before, typically that size is going to be your Classic. It's the most traditional size planner. And then we have the Mini. The Mini is 7 discs. The Mini will, it is, I like to say, kind of your pocket size or purse size planner. If you don't have a lot of to-dos, when we're talking about, you have to consider, do you have a lot or a little? If you have just a few things that you're following up on, maybe an appointment here or there, but you want to have a place where you keep everything written down, I definitely would consider a Mini if you're on the little side of things that you're tracking. The little is really cute. It's fun to decorate, but also because it's a Mini, all the styles do not come in Mini. None of the expansion packs come in Mini, except for dashboard. The dashboard layout comes in the Mini, but a lot of the additional accessories will come in Mini, but not as much as the Classic. But definitely Big gets the least amount of accessories, Classic gets everything, and then Mini, of course, is kind of like the baby, so they get some of those. And just here's a size comparison of all 3 of them stacked together, so you can see just kind of how everything kind of lines up. The Classic, Big, and Mini. And that's why size matters. Size doesn't just matter with the planners. So let's move on to our disc. And again, this is, if you're brand new to Happy Planner, why disc size and style matter. The Happy Planner discs are available in 3 sizes. So you have your Mini disc, you have your Classic disc, and then you have your expander disc. But not only do they come in those sizes, they come in different materials. So we have your metal disc, your plastic disc. The plastic discs come, of course, with the traditional hearts. And then you have the new novelty disc and then the Mini. For me personally, I put my planners, after I've used them for a year, on expander disc. I like to keep my planners. But when I'm using my planner in everyday life, I use my planner on a Classic disc, and I only keep 6 months of my planner inside at a time. Then you have Mini. So if you want to just keep a notebook or just a few, maybe a month of your planner, you can use a Mini. Those are the 3 sizes that are available, but adding the novelty, but the novelty disc are only offered in plastic right now. So those are things to consider. Also, when you're trying to decide between metal disc and plastic disc, you want to ask yourself, will I be taking my planner outside of the home? Because again, if you do take it and you are rough with your planner like I am, I take my planner on the go, my big planner on the go with me every day. I throw it in my laptop bag. It gets banged up. So I like the durability of a metal disc over a plastic disc. And the worst thing is to have your planner all set up, all ready to go, and then you break that middle disc and have to take everything off using the plastic disc. So that's just my preference. If you're not hard, or, you keep your planner nice and, well, cared for, then you could use plastic discs. But for me personally, it's just a personal preference. I like to have my disc on metal. Do we have any questions regarding just size?
We have some questions if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a second and answer those questions.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have a preference of planners type for people who like to journal? This customer on the line here says that she's using a classic vertical but struggling.
So for vertical, I definitely vertical. For journaling, I would recommend a horizontal.
Okay.
Or you could do a vertical line, and then instead of doing it that would only give you 6 days, but you could do vertical kind of using top, middle, and down almost as a day.
Okay.
That would only give you 6 days.
Okay. And you use the word burst, and there's a question what is a burst? Do you recall that?
No, purse, like putting it in your purse, the mini as like a purse, your pocket purse.
Okay. All right. I didn't understand the question, so I thought I should ask.
Yeah, you're fine.
Let's see. Are you on Patreon?
I am not on Patreon yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. I did not know for sure, so I didn't have an answer. There's a very specific question about some blue stickers that were on the first page that you showed. I'm not sure you're going to remember.
Yes, those blue stickers are by Capital Chic Designs, and she is in Michael's.
Okay.
I know exactly which stickers they are talking about.
Okay.
These dolls are from Capital Chic Designs.
Okay. And there was a question about ethnic stickers. So I'm assuming that might be the same question, because Capital Chic is a brand, a product category at Michael's. Yes. So that would be.
And she is an African-American sticker. It's an African-American sticker shop. So definitely, if you would love to support her, she's a great designer. She's a part of the planner community. You can follow her as well on Instagram and just see what's out there as well.
That's right. And she has an end cap at Michael's.
Yeah.
Let's see. What would you recommend for someone who is everything but the goal setter? So this person feels like she covers every person that you talked about except for the goal setter. So
she's kind of the customizer. So I think everything but that, I definitely think that you could use a vertical. I would probably recommend a vertical line, because it sounds like you have a lot that you're doing. And so having those pre-printed lines will definitely help us to kind of get all those to-dos out.
All right. And
yes, and you can break and plan. If you feel like one planner is not fitting your exact needs, maybe you take a page out of a dashboard. This is one page that I love in the dashboard layout, and I've done that some weeks. So I may take this side page where it has like the errands, your to-dos, and focuses and emails, and then just tuck that into a week of my vertical. So you can mesh some things together and find that like perfect layout. You also can use that's where you can use a particular layout and then pull in some filler paper. I love a good filler paper. And so filler papers are great when you feel like you're not getting everything in a layout, but you still kind of want the best of both worlds. So that's, again, kind of in that customizing category where you can take bits and pieces and make it your own.
All right. I think that kind of covers, you're talking about franken-planning and customizing, and I think that's where the questions are heading now. So I think if you continue down that road, you're going to cover the appetite for questions that is coming along now. Outside of the fact that we're getting questions about what your social media handle is again. So if you might want to mention.
Yeah, I'm Neatly Planned on Instagram and on YouTube. And yeah, it's all things planning. My planning styles, we focus a lot on productivity. And so actually we're going to do a little bit of planning today. So again, as you're finding the style, you're finding your style with what planner. I think the next piece, I think we shop for planning backwards. We fall in love with the planner, and then we don't consider the needs. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is when you're considering a planner, you need to look at the theme of the planner. We find this a lot of time. I get this question asked 100 times when looking for a planner. People will say, oh, I think that color scheme is so cute. I love that. I always say, you may love it, but would you love it for a year? Would you love it for a year? And so things to consider. A lot of the planners are focused on a particular color scheme. So it might be a rainbow planner. Would you want a rainbow week every single week? Do you want rainbow disc? Of course, disc you can change out. Particular for me, I did the squat goals planner. I love squat goals. I think the girls are really cute. But for me, I ended up switching my planner because the planner had all of these pre-designed elements in it every single week. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, what you will see is I like to change my style every week. I have different layouts, different themes, of course, all the stickers. And I didn't like, again, I love the planner, looking at it, but then every week I'm trying to figure out, okay, do I cover this up? Do I have to stick to this theme? So that's something you need to consider as well. If you like a planner, will you like it long-term? Don't think about, if you're looking at a planner in the store and you're saying, okay, I like this, but I'm thinking about I'll have to cover that up. That's probably not the planner for you. For me, I like planners that are more minimalist in the design. I'm currently using the Wild Style planner. And for me, I like that the pages are clear. So every week, and we're going to do this layout, every week, I can make the pages into whatever I want. I like a blank slate every week. I like to turn my pages into whatever. And so if you are very particular, if you're a stargazer, that's very specific. Or if you are homebody florals, that's very specific. And so when looking at a planner, you need to take that into consideration. Will I love it long term? Because I think we get down this kind of rabbit hole. I have this planner, I love this part, but I don't like that part. You can customize it if that's in your budget, but that's not in everyone's budget to do. So pick a planner that you would be happy using for the full year if you had to. If you had to. Now, we know that there's new releases all the time, and so we all want new planners, or we switch every few months, but that's what I like to think about. Like, if I'm thinking about design elements that I don't like or would have to change or cover it up, for me, it takes away from my productivity. I'm very limited in the amount of time that I have to decorate, and so if I'm trying to cover up too many things every week, then that takes away from it for me. Okay. Do we have any other questions about that?
Well, there's always questions, Nita. Let's see. One particular here, what got you started in planning with the Happy Planner?
With the Happy Planner, so at the time I was a visual merchandiser, and my job was very creative. Like, I was creating different floor sets, and so for me to find a planner, I've always used a planner, but specifically to find a planner that allowed me to fuse my creativity and the organization together, it was the mirroring, the marrying of two of the things that I loved, but it also allowed me what I struggle with other planners. I like bits and pieces. And what made me fall in love with the Happy Planner was that I could customize it. I could make it me. It was unique just to me. Anyone else's planner wouldn't look exactly like mine if they opened it up.
Okay. I think if you have it handy, if you could show the horizontal dashboard layout. Do you have one of those again?
Yes.
There's questions of going back a little bit here.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that is a horizontal dashboard page.
Yep, and I just covered up the headers with stickers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one says, I can't remember what this one is. I think it's like to buy. So instead of to buy, I just put a don't forget. And then this one I think was calls, like more calls or something. And I just put a sticker that said focus on.
So they do give you prompts, but you can change the
Yes,
prompts with
you
a
can
lot of the
change them.
stickers.
Mhm. You're not
Okay.
limited to that.
Yeah. And Franken Planning is using different styles, but all the same planners on the different topics in the same planner. There's a lot of questions about Franken Planning because people are using that word, but some people don't
Yes.
understand.
So Franken planning for me is taking, so instead of housing 3 different planners all separately, Franken planning allows me to have them all together in one. So housed in one. So if I was tracking fitness and I was using a dashboard layout, I might have 1 month of the dashboard layout. So I would have January in the dashboard layout, but I would also have January in the vertical using that if it was my home planner. And then if I was doing a budget planner, I would have the January of that planner. So it's 3 different planners all in one. You're taking them apart all out of the original house and housing them all in one unit.
Right. Some people will do faith, fitness,
Yeah.
budget all in their major planner and do their work. And then they'll have those other 3 types in there. So Franken Planning is just customizing and putting all of them in one
In one
binder.
house.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you carry a mini around and transfer from a big from a mini to a big when you are at home?
So typically, if I'm going to be out and about, when I'm like grocery shopping, I'm currently using I'm using a classic skitty. And we didn't talk about this just because this is available at Michael's. But again, I wanted to focus on the 3 most popular ones. This is a new layout for Happy Planner. I like this because my half sheets that I use for meal planning and grocery shopping, I can put right in here. And then I just take them, I remove them, and then I just put them in my bag.
Makes sense. Yes, that is a new style, and it is it fits nicely into your handbag because of the thin size.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of these questions in writing for a little bit here.
Well, I do have a class that's coming up. Hopefully it'll be available for you guys to sign up. I've gotten so many questions. Everyone knows that I work. I'm a workaholic. I'm a recovering workaholic. But I do have a home planner. And so I'm going to be doing a class using how I use my big personal planner for home. I'm going to be sharing in that class how I balance me and my husband's schedules and how I kind of use this big Happy Planner as kind of my command system. So you guys will be able to sign up if you're trying to figure out how to set up a home planner, how to balance all the things, what you track. You know, I use I kind of have like a master grocery list that I work with. So I'm going to be sharing all those fun tips and tricks in this home planner. So if you're wanting to get home organized and you're trying to balance everything and trying to figure out how to make a planner work, a system work for your home, I'm going to have a class on that. So I just laid down some washi. You guys know when I plan, I use a master to-do list. I didn't plan this week. And so I'm needing to do this. So I thought as we're fielding questions, if you guys have questions that I can kind of plan and share with you guys. If you're new to my planning style, I always pre-plan. I write out all of my to-dos. I have them beforehand. And this is kind of what I've been working off of so far this week. And I'm just going to lay it down in my planner. I'm using this fall sticker book so you guys can continue to ask questions about size and style. I started off in Happy Planner. My planning style kind of evolved. My first planner that I used for Happy Planner was a classic. And even talking about, I may not get to the plan with me, but also just sharing with you guys, I used a classic Happy Planner. My job changed. And so I'm just going to kind of share, don't judge me guys, but this was my planning style. Now these stickers are also capital sheet designs as well as Happy Planner, but my planning style changed. Originally, when I was a merchandiser, I had a particular time that I worked every day and I didn't have to write down specifics because I kind of had a binder for work that I used. But then I had all of my home things that I was tracking. But as my job changed and evolved, I did a complete career change. My needs in a planner change and I needed more writing space. So I had to switch to a bigger planner so that I could write more things in it. So yeah, this is just kind of how, and I've always used kind of the boxes unknowingly for events and things like that. but this is just the evolution. So you could start in one size and then you may say, hey, this no longer fits my needs and I need to move to a bigger planner. And this was one of those planners. This was one of like, I think that like the second release of Happy Planners. This was like everyday plans or something like that. And it had all these design elements, and it would be a struggle every week trying to figure out how do I do the design elements of it and make it work for me. Even planner styles change. Your inspiration can change. I used to use a lot of like the really thick washi tape, and washi tape kind of went out of style and it came back. But now I use thinner washies. I used to use like 3D, what was these, like the Mambi sticks, you know, and then I just stopped using those because they were too bulky in my planner. So again, your style can change, and that's okay. It's okay if it evolves. I also would recommend whatever size planner you use, follow that hashtag on Instagram. You will get tons of inspiration from other planner babes who use that exact same style. I get recommendations all the time from followers. Hey, would you do a horizontal? I don't use a horizontal, but if you look up horizontal layout, and that's a great way too on the Happy Planner Squad, follow the planner babes on the squads, because there are someone on the squad who uses every style of layout. And it's a great way for you to get some inspiration for that particular size. Also, there are Facebook groups for every like size and style of planner. So if you're a faith planner, if you are a horizontal user, there are Facebook groups specifically for that. Are we getting any questions? Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, Nita, we have questions.
Okay.
Okay. Do you always start with a washi, and how do you know where to put that first?
So for me, my washi tape almost always goes in the same places. I alternate between the very top line and this middle line for me, just because of how my Mondays, and I don't work on the weekends. So for my weekends are used just for additional tasks or habits or prepping for the week. And then on Mondays, I have a series of Mondays and Tuesdays. Typically, I have the same meetings every Monday morning. So I can account for this space. I won't lose this as writing space.
Okay. How do you store your old planners, or do you take the discs off of them, or do you just keep them in their, normal state?
So typically I will house my old planners just on either expander disc, depending on how thick it is, but I keep them. I like to kind of look back and see how my planning style has changed and evolved. And for me, I like to keep them.
Yeah. They're kind of like a memory book when you think about it.
Yeah, they're kind of like memory. I don't memory keep, but I keep my planners.
Right. I saw a question about the disc. What are the metal rings for, and why would you use them? I think maybe that some people might not understand that the metal discs are just replacement discs for the plastic discs, because some
Correct.
people prefer them for the fact that some people believe that the pages turn smoother on them.
Smoother. Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
Yes, I have heard that as well. They are shinier, and they have a different appeal to them
Aesthetic,
visually.
yeah. And a lot of people that I know that like to use, like, maybe the rose gold or, certain discs, like for work, they feel like it just has a more professional appeal to it. I mean, some of it is personal preference.
Right. So that's the reason that she mentioned the difference between the metal and the plastic discs, because they're an upgrade, they're available, they have a different look and feel, and they're actually more they're more durable, because sometimes the plastic disc will actually break, and if you have the metal ones, they won't break normally. I mean, they won't break. Let's see. Already done this one. What is the name of the planner that this paper that you're using here came out of?
This came out of the Wild Style.
Wild Styled. Okay. Do you use a budget planner, or have you ever used a budget planner?
So I have never used a budget planner. I used to use the old school expense tracker. And so now they have what do they have? They have the new expense trackers, and then they have the budget envelopes. And so for me, I do track like daily, what is it? Yeah, daily spending. But I've never specifically used like a budget tracker.
Okay. Yeah, that we have, but we have expense tracker fill papers, and we have an expense tracker extension pack, and we have accessory packs. We have budget everything because
Yeah,
it is a
a
big,
savvy saver.
yes, it is quite a large following for the budgeting tools that we
Yeah.
carry. And a lot of people do use budget planners. Heather Kell does a lot of budget planning in some of her.
And I believe the squad member Kenya Doll Plans is her handle. She does budgeting as well. I think she's a financial planner, so she gives really good tips.
Yes, wild styled. Okay. Let's see. What do you call it when you take weekly? Oh, what do you call it when you? Well, that is Franken planning. When you take weekly pages from a different planner just to change it up, that's just Franken planning as well. It's just a different type of Franken planning, or I would maybe that's called. Yeah, maybe that's customizing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of customizing, or just if you want, just I think too, that's when you kind of get in a planner funk, or you just want to kind of freshen it up, or sometimes people do it just to pique their creativity, like you want to just kind of do something different.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that's just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun, or challenging yourselves creatively.
Yeah. Let's see, there must have been a layout with check boxes at the bottom. That
was the good habits.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
And that's a new layout. That's a brand new layout that just came out in this fall release. And that's available. Yeah, it's available in classic and mini.
Yeah, and it has.
Classic and big and classic.
Yeah, and it has a black cover with a kind of a. It looks like it looks like an old book.
Very pretty, and it is very neutral. So it goes between this. I would say this is kind of like a muted green and a really peachy color.
Yeah, that's nice, and not too complicated to work with from a design.
Yeah. I mean, the only really design elements during the week are this. I mean, I would guess this is like a little star, but I can work with that.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's extremely functional. So again, this layout is super simple. I've laid my boxes for my weekly to-dos. And I mean, again, you can add as much or as little design that you want. But again, I would definitely recommend following the hashtags and planner babes who use the size and style that you really like.
Let's see. Do you have a current favorite fill paper that you use?
I do. I pulled a couple because I know you guys are going to ask. So I'm loving right now are these gold, and they're actually on clearance right now. So I need to stock up, but they're available in classic and big. And so I like using the classic size because then I can still get an overview. So this is in size comparison on an actual page of what that looks like. And then if you have a job like me where it might be sensitive information that you don't want when your planner is wide open for people to see, you can write it on the inside and then just fold it over. So that's how I
nice.
like this one. Another one that I'm really liking right now, I like using, and this one I believe is on clearance too. A lot of the big stuff is on clearance because you guys need to use a big, so it will stay there. But I like the big size fillers, the half sheet fillers, because I like to cut them. So it kind of gives me, of course, you see you have this top and bottom, but if I cut it, I have two different pieces that I can use. And then on the back, it's just a long checklist.
Oh, that's the one from the bookish.
The bookish. So yeah, that's kind of like a pro tip if you want to kind of get varieties. And like the half sheets, you can get the big and then just cut them, and it gives you options to layer.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's kind of pretty much the spread. I would put like a few dots in a quote, but that's pretty much the spread. So again, it doesn't take long to do a really cute spread. You can flip the camera back to me if you guys have additional questions. We can answer them.
That sticker book that you're using there,
Yes,
that's the new fall sticker book that just came out.
yes, the brand new one.
It's released on 9/18. It should be in all Michael's stores.
It is available online right now.
Yes. Yeah. The store the store I was in this morning had their stuff out, so they should have it all out.
So it should be coming to stores very soon. What other questions do you guys have for me? Are there topics that you'd like to see in the next class for me, or something that you guys would like specifically for me to do?
There's a customer asking, do you have a planner size recommended for left-handed writers? The disc can get in the way, but.
So I recommend just when I do my spreads, I take them off the disc. For me, even being a right-handed person, I can't write and decorate with my planners on the ring. So I take my pages out and set them flat. That works best for me when I'm writing in my planner.
This is a normal question for a class. What is your favorite pen to use in your Happy Planner?
So again, I think I got sucked in like everyone else recently. I just started using the Sharpie S Gel 0.7, but my favorite pen is the Pilot Gel 0.7 is my favorite black. And I only use black pens in my planner. I've tried blue and the colors, but my favorite just for me, for my eyes, aesthetically, I just like a black pen. But this gel one writes really great, and the Pilot pen as well, it doesn't bleed through. So I'm liking the Sharpie pen.
Oh my goodness. Does Happy Planner have a planner that you can customize?
So they have now where it's kind of on the website, they have kind of like the build your own planner, but it's basically you're just picking your covers, and that you can either, I think right now you can choose between, I think it's only between like vertical or horizontal are the choices. But I always say that, again, that if you're not sure on a style, that's a great time when they have planners on sale that are like 40% off. I look at it as, basically getting 2 for 1, trying 2 different layouts. Or if you have a planner buddy and they want to try out a different style, that's a good way you guys can maybe split the cost and each maybe get 6 months or, divvy out the particular month so that you each get to try that layout. Until you find out which one you love.
I think Happy Planner is completely customizable just because everything goes in and out. And
yes.
You're not dependent on a spiral or a book bound situation. You can put anything in and out of a Happy Planner with the disc system.
I agree with that. You can kind of make it your own through filler papers, through just the design elements. Like I love that about Happy Planner. No one's planner is the same. We all set them up differently. What we add, all the add-ins, all the envelopes, all the things that you can put in to make it your own. That's right. That was one of my major draws to Happy Planner.
Yeah, that's my favorite part as well. Does your planning style change from planner to planner, like from season to season, or from the different planner types of pages to pages?
It does not. As far as like which planner I use, I have tried them all. Vertical works best for me for work. I'm going to use, I told you guys I'd be using the Good Habits as my work planner this January. And then for home, I prefer the dashboard layout. And I like the dashboard because it is, for me, it's pure functional. I can just write things down. I can decorate it if I want. I don't have to decorate it. And I like that it's already organized by my grocery list, errands, phone calls, emails. I like that that's already thought out for me. And so I like the simplicity of a dashboard for home planning. Now for work, it doesn't work for me because I have too many things to write. Even in a big dashboard doesn't work for my work planner.
Mm-hmm. What do you do with empty planner pages if you, in a planner that you don't use anymore?
So for empty planner pages, so are you saying like a planner I just discontinued using, or planner pages that maybe that week I didn't actually do a spread?
Either one.
Okay, so for planner pages that I just don't use, sometimes I will, I keep them just in case, like I'm trying to do a spread and I mess up, because that happens to the best of us. We'll start a spread and you don't like it, and I'll just redate it. So I like to keep those just in case, sometimes if you're trying to pull up a sticker, it may rip. I like to have backup pages. But also for planners that I discontinue, we go to a really large church. I work with our youth ministry, so I donate a lot of my planners. Like if I only use 6 months, or if I have someone that's interested into planning and they don't quite know, I won't give them a whole planner. I may give them, try this for a few months. Let me know what you think. Because again, it's about finding the right fit.
That's true. Someone is asking about how to get different planner covers, and I think a lot of people will buy, if they don't like the planner cover that they have, they'll buy, I was going to make a suggestion that they buy notebooks, things like that.
The happy notes.
Yeah,
the happy notes are a great option for that. And then also too, I switch covers out. A lot of the covers are reversible. And so sometimes I'll buy a planner, but I like the inside better. Usually I love the inside, that where it just has that simple live creatively. For me, sometimes the inside cover is simpler. And so I like that. I like the simplicity.
I've seen people do that as well. They'll flip them over, and because the design inside is very simple, and that can be done. And then, like I said, they'll buy the happy notes, or they might like the insides of one and the outsides of another, and they'll work with friends and stuff like that and swap them out.
Yeah, to switch them out, swap. And then you could always too, you can customize it. So you can take a planner that may have a blank inside, throw a Mambi stick on there, and use your stickers. That's a way for you to use your stickers in a non-planner spread way.
There's a few, more than a few, there's a few people asking about how do you organize your sticker books? That seems to be a favorite question as well on these.
So I just recently bit the bullet and I took some of my favorite sticker books apart. And so what I did was I put them on these rings. And so there are like ones that I pull frequently. And so this entire roll is all of quote stickers. These are just quotes. If I'm looking for a quote sticker, I will grab this ring. This particular ring here is all rainbow. This entire book is just rainbows and Roy G. Biv. And then I have one book that is all like my habit tracker stickers. So habits, phone calls, that kind of thing, like work related stickers that I pull frequently. I took a bunch apart. It was a little overwhelming. I think I regretted it for a second. It took multiple days to kind of really sort them and get them organized. But I would definitely highly recommend. I would recommend this also if you have multiples of a book. So for me, this particular rainbow book, I had 4 of them. And I had them housed in 4 different books. So I took them apart. And what I did was I just cut the cover. So I have the cover on the front and I kept the back so I could still keep them together. So it's still nice and neat, and I knew which sticker book it was.
Wow, okay. So you kept the covers that way. That's nice.
So I just cut it, and so these I have the covers for too, but I just haven't put them back on. I just have them down at the bottom. I'm still working on this process. I always say, that is another pro tip I will say, things that I wish I knew when I started in the community. I bought a lot of sticker books just because, again, it was the, fear of missing out. I had to have it. But I have really honed into my particular design style. And so for me, I like the seasonal sticker books. I really love the functional books. So like the color story and the, what are some of the other ones that I really, really love? The quote books. Those are kind of like my go-to books. And so what I will buy, I'll buy multiples of those particular stickers versus buying all the stickers. I buy ones that really fit my aesthetic because I know I will use them versus just hoarding them. So consider, once you kind of hone in on what your design style is, especially if you're a new planner babe, it can be very expensive and it can be overwhelming if you get too many books. Some of the books I would recommend for beginners or just like essentials would be either the color story book or the rainbow book. And then I would also recommend the Planner Basic book, because this has a little bit of everything, especially for home management, checklists, a little bit of the colorful boxes. It has a little bit of everything, and there's some faith stuff in there, and then a seasonal book. And that pretty much gets you everything that you would need in stickers.
That's true. If you have those, I've heard the color story numerous times, and when you go through it, it kind of has a little bit of multiple themes throughout the color story books. They're very nice to have when you're getting started. So you have a little bit of different styling from each one of the releases that are made seasonally. I was going to remind people that the michaels.com/classes has your other class on it that was called
Increasing Productivity.
Yes, Increasing Productivity, where you did just some layouts and some planning, plan with me in that class, because there's a couple of people saying that they're just getting started in planning and they were, needing some suggestions on how to get started. And that was very well laid out, how to sit down and think about just doing a planner layout for when you're getting started with planning. So if they want to go back and see your first class that you did, it was on August the 1st, but it is posted online. I think it posted on August the 3rd, and they can find it at michaels.com.
And I will also, today if you follow me on Instagram, I will link that Michael's class in my swipe up so you can find it easily, because sometimes it can be a little bit harder to navigate. So I will link that. If you follow me on Neatly Planned after this class is over, I will add the swipe up to that Increasing Productivity class. And I will also add all of my Michael's classes. Once this one replays, I'll create a highlight on my Instagram. That way it'll be easy for you guys to find it. But also I have tons of videos. Every week I walk you through my actual planner layout. And not only I'm not just decorating, I'm walking you through the whys of how I plan. So if you want more tips on how to plan, how to set out, how to prioritize, you can follow me on YouTube and on Instagram, because I share lots of tips and tricks with you guys throughout the week. So that would help you in that planning journey. And if you have specific questions, feel free to DM me. I will try my best to answer them to the best of my ability.
Yes. Okay, I think you've answered pretty much all the questions at least once. Some of them are coming up the same, but if they want to see this class again, it will be posted online at michaels.com/classes, so they could go back through and hear some of your comments at the beginning that answered some of the questions that are coming up now. Okay, that was great. I'm glad you went through all of the size and the different types and what the discs are for. That was very informative.
Yeah, I feel like, again, I think starting off, it can be overwhelming. And I forgot to say this too. It's really important too when you're looking at the size of your planner when you're shopping for accessories, because there are certain things that are specific to that size planner. So especially when you're shopping online, if you have a big, when you're looking for folders and filler papers and things like that, it will say what size it is. So make sure you're paying attention to that when you're shopping online. In store, you can look at it and clearly tell the difference between big and classic. But when you're shopping online, make sure that you're looking at the headers for the size of accessories and planners.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No, thank you guys. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. I appreciate it.